Tell him what you're about to do.
I told him, I said, yo, right now I feel like I could do a one-arm push-up, you know? As you guys know, one-arm push-up is extremely difficult. Like, it's top tier difficult. Like, it's the hardest difficulty. So let's see what we can do. You know, I'm feeling extra energetic today. I'm gonna see more attention. Let's do it. Let's start off with the two-arm push-up. Get a good angle real quick. Tell me which one.
All right, this is good.
Go off two arms. Yeah, I'm feeling good. All right. Ooh, let's go a little lower. All right, two arm.
Two arms just to warm up.
I don't know why they have me do these anymore.
Yeah, two arms is too
I
simple.
mastered it. One arm is pretty crazy.
It's different. That was light.
That was pretty easy.
So what are you doing right now?
Right now, I've Grubhub, Uber Eats, and DoorDash, and we're just doing orders.
Would you consider what we're doing right now a 9-to-5 job?
Not really, because usually, like, you can't choose when you work in a 9-to-5, right? That's why it's called the 9-to-5. Usually you have to work from 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and you get the weekends off. That's how most people work their jobs. So this doesn't really fall into that category. So for that reason, I wouldn't call it a 9-to-5.
Do you think it's important to learn how to parallel park as a man?
Definitely, because let me ask you this.
When do you plan on learning how?
I could probably figure it out right now if I wanted to. I haven't really gone through this stuff to figure out how. But what I was gonna say is, imagine you're with your girl, right? There's one parking spot at the restaurant. You have a nice dress shirt on. You're taking her on a date, and you can't parallel park. Now what?
Holy.
That'd be pretty bad. So
Pussy will dry up real quick.
that's why it's essential to know how to parallel park.
So as a man, right? Because would you consider yourself a man?
That's a dumb question.
Very dumb question, but we gotta ask dumb questions sometimes, you know what I mean? But I guess let me get to the point. So you're door dashing right now, doing Grubhub. You've had a physical labor job in the past, correct or incorrect?
Definitely, I'd say.
All right,
one of
so
the
as a
hardest
man,
labor jobs you could ever have.
right? So as a man, do you think it's more important to have a physical labor job, or important to do jobs like this, DoorDash and Grubhub?
Here's the thing. I think you need both. But is anybody really gonna take a pay cut to work a manual labor job? You know, is it that important? And I would say,
Right, you can just do push-ups.
right, maybe. Obviously, if the manual labor one is more money, you take that one. I would even justify, if you really want to focus on being a man, then you can even take the manual labor job, even if it pays the same. But you know, it's all a case-by-case basis. There's definitely times where you should and shouldn't. But yeah, what I can say is that manual labor jobs teach you a lot. You know, it teaches you the value of money, the value of hard work.
Yeah.
Because this stuff is like easy money. You know what I'm saying? If this is my only ever job, like, I would think money grows on trees. This is kind of too easy.
So as long as you've experienced a job that allows you to realize the value of money, then what you do after that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying work a shitty job and like just to put yourself through hard stuff and then come home and have your family starve. Like, that's obviously not good. But most of the time you can't really get a good job, especially not a good no labor job when you're this young. You know, I think these food delivery apps are very it's very like unique. It's a very unique time in society that hasn't really happened before. You know, it's not normal to be able to make anywhere near this kind of money without doing physical work or having gotten like degrees or have knowledge that makes you important enough to make that much money. So it's rare to be able to do stuff like this. So normally you wouldn't even get this chance, and you would have to work a physical labor job to make this type of money. And just because they give you the option not to do it does not mean that you should just try to take the easy way out and find the best jobs and find the easiest jobs, you know? You have to also understand that because you can make so much money on jobs where you don't really have to do anything, those manual labor jobs, as time goes on and the market kind of readjusts, they're gonna start to pay more. So, you know, nobody wants to work, everybody wants free money. I'm doing all this stuff. How many other people do you think are doing this? You know, a lot of people are doing it because it's easy. So that means all the manual labor jobs, they're gonna start to pay more, and they'll always pay more because people don't want to do them. So you should take advantage of that.
Do you carry cash on you?
Not a lot. I don't think you need to carry that much cash on you, you know.
Are there risks to carrying cash on you?
I mean, obviously you could get robbed, but you could get robbed of your debit card. You know, you could get robbed of your credit card. You could get robbed of everything. It's just, you know, it's not as convenient. Everybody likes to flaunt cash. You know, if you're, it's like physical space too. Like, it just doesn't make sense. If you have the money, holding it in cash just is like, it's like wasting time for no reason, right? It's just you're making stuff harder for no reason. You don't really need to carry cash unless you have to.
What's the importance of credit?
Well, let's say you have a wife and kids, right? Beautiful Caribbean wife. You go to the bank, you have bad credit, and now you can't get a house, right? You wouldn't want that to happen. That'd be a tragedy.
I wouldn't, would you?
Definitely not.
Would you guys?
Yeah.
Fuck.
So, you know, you should have good credit because...
But, let me say this real quick. If it did happen to you, do push-ups and find a way to get a credit card.
Right.
Don't give up. Continue.
But the reason... Okay, you guys have to understand the reason... Because this is what happened to me, right? Some people were telling me, oh, you should get a credit, start building credit at 18. And I always said, well, I'm not going to need credit till I buy a home. So why start building credit at 18? And what I didn't realize is the reason they tell you guys that is because it's all based off your credit score, what loans you can get approved for, your interest rates, you know. And when I mean loans, I'm talking student loans, mortgages, car loans. You know, a lot of life is loans. So having a good credit score is really important. But the point is, a big part of your credit score is how long you've had accounts open. It's the average age of your accounts. So I always thought, well, I'll just get a credit card when I have money and it'll be straight. But no, because if I get a credit card when I'm 21 and then I need a house at 22, my average time having a credit card open is going to be so low that my credit score won't even be good. That's why they tell you to start building it as early as possible, because then you get the most time to build up that score. And when your average length of a credit card is like 5 years, you know, now you can get a good score, you can get better loans, better interest rates, stuff like that. So I would say, you know, there's a lot more to it. I'll have to explain it when I come back from the order. Okay, so like I was saying, once you build it at 18, now your average age can be a little bit longer, which will allow you to have a higher score. But that doesn't mean as soon as you turn 18 and you have no money, you just go and open a credit card. You know, you can't do things, you can't be irresponsible as a man. It would be very irresponsible for you to open a credit card at 18 and not fully understand it. You know, that's a part of the reason I didn't want to.
If a man right now is 18 and they want to open a credit account, what would you say, credit card, what would you say are the 3 main tips that they must know before doing that so that they don't mess up their life?
The number one tip is, I don't care how small the minimum payment is. If you cannot pay off your entire balance in full every single month, please do not get a credit card. All right, it'll never be worth it. If you go 1 month without paying and you can't pay the full balance and you have to pay the minimum account, throw your credit card in the fireplace or something, because you should never do that. I know they make it seem like it's okay, and technically it would still count as an on-time payment on your credit score, but it's just the absolute worst habit to get into. If you cannot pay it off in full every month, you should not have a credit card. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is, unless you're making a lot of money, when you're starting off, make sure that none of your credit cards have an annual fee, because everybody wants to get cash back and all of that stuff. But the reality is, there's so many cards that give you good cash back, that give you good benefits, where you don't need to have an annual fee. So, you know, once you hit the Amex Golds, the Sapphire Reserve Chases, you know, when you get to the higher quality credit cards, they're gonna have an annual fee. But when you're 18, you're not gonna get accepted for those anyways. So just don't get a credit card with an annual fee when you're 18, because you can almost always find one the same, if not better, for no annual fee. Tip number 3 would be to always make sure you set up your automatic payments. Whether it's, you know, a lot of credit cards, when you get them, you can set them up through Chase. Some you set up through Discover. Everything you set it up for, almost every single one, has the option to set up automatic payments. You link it to a bank account. You can say full statement balance, and it'll take out the entire thing, the entire statement balance out of an account on time every month, so you don't have to think about it. Everybody thinks, oh, I'll just remember to pay it, and then sometimes you don't. And, you know, as a lot of you guys know, with credit cards, one missed payment, it could absolutely destroy your score. So always make sure, tip number 3, always make sure you have automatic payments on. Messing up your credit score, it's a serious thing, because messing up your credit score is a very quick way to hit rock bottom and to ruin your life. So you just have to be careful with that type of stuff. That's why I stress it so much, and that's why it's so important.
Free game.
It's free game.